game, mate. Good game, Joe. Yep. Thank you. First frame. Joe Swail to break.
Joe Swail gets this match underway with well, just a little bit too much pace on his break-off shot. He's left a chance for Neil Robertson. Joe, great record so far. Played 3-1-3. Neil has won 2 out of his 3 matches. Good format, Willie. If you can get through the round robin stage, you get plenty of practice for the last 16 stage.
I think the big improvement, Dennis, this year is the fact that it's now best of 7s. I think at least now you're not going to get as many strange results. Yes, you're going to get players who you would expect to win, lose the odd match, but I think over the best of 7, the better player would normally win probably 90% of the time. So I think the format best of 7 is a lot better than last year where it was best of 5. As you rightly say, the match practice is is fantastic for this time of year when sometimes there's a little bit of a gap between tournaments. You're playing more matches in this tournament than some players would play in a season sometimes, because it gives you every chance to get your form. And I think whoever wins this tournament will have played some great snooker, because they're going to play lots and lots of matches.
Oh, it's not bad. Just catching the jaw of the middle pocket there. Neil would have looked a little bit anxious for a few seconds, but he just held his hand up there just to apologise for his little bit of good fortune. There's one red that he can possibly take on. He can cut this one into the left corner pocket, and there's a gap between the black and reds, so it's a free shot. I'm nearly sure the white will miss contact. Yeah, but he forgot about the pot. He's got a choice of reds. There may be, I think that's what he's looking at. There's a little shot here where he could find the gap. If he can pot that red into the right corner, I think he could squeeze the white in between the reds there to leave himself on the black. If he doesn't fancy that, he can take the one up into the left corner. But he did look at that other one into the right.
We've got a good picture there of him just coming what we call across the ball there. You saw his backhand when he was playing the shot there, didn't go through in a straight line, and he just turned the cue ball over a little bit, and that was a shot you would expect him to have potted. Just watch his hand there. You just see him come across it a little bit here. Yeah, little tiniest little jab, put a little bit of unwanted side on, turn the cue ball over, and that was a relatively good chance. It's been wasted.
But what a chance now for Joe Swail. This is where you want to get in early on in a match, in around the black spot area. Got a lovely touch, Joe Swail, and we keep talking about that unique cue action with his
8
elbow bent out. There you can see it's usually straight at the back, most
9
players, but it's as if Joe learned to play when he was young, Willie, and he's kept that same action because you couldn't quite reach the table. That's how we all used to hold the cue starting off.
I think I'm right in saying that Ray Reardon's probably the only other player, Dennis, that I've seen kind of, have it not parallel at the back. And I think Barry Pinches is another one, isn't he? I can't think of many more. But it is
16.
unbelievable to watch Joe. I mean, it's always a pleasure to watch Joe play because he, as Dennis mentioned a few moments ago, he gets so much reaction on the cue ball sometimes with his action. And when he's playing well, he's a delight to watch.
17.
Well, that seemed to come off
24.
quite quickly off the cushion there. The tables are playing beautifully, very, very fast. Players prefer that to a slow table, but that one seemed to come off a bit quicker than it went on to the cushion.
Joel Swail, 24.
Yeah, this is the one that spoiled it, just overhitting it. Because Joe knows, doesn't he, Willie, if he wins this match, he's through to the last 16. That would be 4 out of 4.
Yes, this in Joe's mind is like a proper tournament game now because he's got to obviously try and win it. There's still a slight chance, of course, that results could go all his own way and he could still get through with only 3 matches, but it's unlikely. You'll need to win one more, I think, to guarantee it. On the other hand, of course, Neil Robertson's already lost 1 match in this tournament, so he really needs a win. So this has got the makings of an excellent match.
Three. Four.
Well, the pink is obviously available in the middle, but he feels that it's too tough to take at this early stage, and if it was a best of 17 match he may decide to play the pink, but best of 7 doesn't want to give anything
Robertson,
away
4.
too easily. Not the best cue ball he's ever played, but where the pink is, this safety shot is not straightforward. At first glance I can't see a shot back in baulk.
Yeah, the one he's looking at, he'd have to get a little touch of swerve on it, and if that goes wrong, he won't get the thin contact required to take him back up the table. So that little double kiss on the yellow has made quite a difference there. He was just playing a straightforward safety shot here, just to leave the white tight on the ball cushion. Misjudged it slightly, but that double kiss on the yellow proving very useful. And Joe Swail having to think long and hard about trying to find a way back down the table. Yeah, he tried one of those tricky screwback shots and didn't quite get into it, and he's stuck this one up. And a chance for Neil Robertson, and it's a very good chance now. Pink and black available after this red.
Yes, it's rather a big gap, isn't it, in between pink and black here. You can play the stun down straight through the gap of the pink and black, on and off the cushion for the black in the right hand corner, or you could run it in and play for the black in the left hand corner. I think the stun through the gap is guaranteed, but it looks like he's playing the alternative, playing for the black in the other pocket.
1.
Yeah, obviously a bigger angle than I thought, so this is a great chance now to get back into this frame.
Eight. 9. 16. 17.
Did remarkably well last season, Neil Robertson, winning 2 ranking events, and that's
23.
made him now a player to be feared. I must admit that when he first came over, he resided in my club at Leicester for his first year and a half of his career, and I've got to be honest, I never thought he would be a tournament winner, but it just shows you if you put the dedication in, put the hard work in, you can improve rapidly, and this young man has improved out of all recognition. He was always a great potter, but now he's become a very, very good break builder, and that's key at this level. You've got to score heavily when you get in.
Neil Robertson, 24.
That's what you call getting ahead of yourself. He was thinking of where he was going with his next couple of shots and lost concentration. I mean, there's no other reason for missing a sitter like that. I keep saying, if you don't concentrate 100% all the time, you can miss anything. It's a bit like golf. You've got to keep your concentration all the time.
One.
Yes, it's unbelievable, isn't it? A few moments ago I was suggesting that he's such a good break builder, chance of getting back into the frame, if not winning it, and all of a sudden now his roles reversed. Swail will be disappointed now if he doesn't get a sizable lead, if not a frame winner in this frame. He's going to have to flick off the 2 reds here, though. I don't think he can hold the cue ball without kissing those 3 reds. It's not a bad idea to flick off them. If you can miss them, there's no problem. You can go for blue or one of the bought colours, played for the blue.
9.
Overrun it slightly. So neither player yet has got the pace of this table.
He's going to have to take the blue in the corner now, but there's no problem dropping on that red to the left of the 3, and if the one at the back of the 3 is available, he'll be okay also, but it looks fairly straight, this, so he can just roll the blue in there, you can see it, and watch the white come through after the blue. Now that one at the back of the 3 there near the pink spot must be
14.
available. Could have done with running it through a little bit further though.
15.
Right. The two reds. I'm not sure. He's coming around to have a look to see if one of them might go into the left corner. If it does, it'll be straightforward. If it doesn't, he's going to have to get the cannon onto them in a couple of shots' time.
$22. 23.
He's got a good angle on the black, so it'd be better if it would go. He wouldn't have to play the cannon, but if not, as long as he doesn't hit the red full ball, if he plays the cannon, he's okay. Well, he's hit it full ball, or almost full ball.
30.
Yes, for somebody of Joe's class that was poor, because the cue ball being close enough to the black, it was quite a straightforward shot. Nearer the cushion, you can forgive him for hitting it full ball, but he'd be disappointed to have not won the frame at that visit. Does he take the pot onto the middle?
It was a good effort.
John Swail, 30.
Neil Robertson, such a good long potter, could that prove costly there? But if the red goes in, Joe wins the frame. It's as simple as that, because he was perfectly on the black. So he's got a long straight red in the corner, or he can take it into the right middle pocket. It looks like the middle, the way he's cueing at it. Doesn't want to finish tight on the cushion here.
1.
Looks good to me. That's perfect.
Well, a few moments ago when Neil Robertson missed the easiest black possibly seen missed this tournament, he must have thought he was going to go 1-0 behind. He's got a chance even though he's behind in this frame. He's actually favourite to win it from here. Obviously getting on the yellow's not straightforward unless he can get onto the brown off this last red. In saying that though, the brown would come back on the pink spot, so is there any advantage playing for the brown? If the pink pots, that would help. Get on the pink, that would definitely help.
9.
Looks like he's going to have to play the brown. Now the brown goes on the pink spot. What kind of angle does he have on this brown? I don't know whether he can risk. No, he can't play the kiss into the pink, so this is not all over yet, because green to brown's going to cause a slight problem.
$13. 15.
He's got a good angle here. Anywhere along those lines with a little touch aside to leave himself a good angle on the brown to get to the blue, but somewhere near the lines would be perfect here.
18.
Got a kick there.
22.
Should be okay. Didn't quite get on the brown as he intended, but you could see the brown jumping there, and that took pace out of the cue ball. Wow, he didn't even get close to
Robertson,
that.
22.
Well, that was a nervy little shot he played there. He might have been a little bit annoyed with the bad contact previously, but he didn't even catch the jaw of the pocket there. What a let off for Joe. Oh, he's cued across it a little bit as well. So early tension here in this match.
That was a good safety shot around the back of the black there, and got to be a little careful here, Joe. He doesn't push the blue towards a pocket. Oh, the white's going to be close as well. This is a very poor shot, isn't it?
Foul.
You don't
Robertson,
see shots
5.
like that in your Conservative club.
Or your Labour club, or Liberal club either, because we used to play in all those clubs in the early days. Exhibitions, we played at all the clubs around the country.
I meant to say snooker club. I don't know why Conservative came out, but that was very, very poor for somebody of Joe's class.
Five.
Just holds his hand up to apologise, but what an easy shot to win a frame. He's just making sure he's looking at the scoreboard to make sure he doesn't need the black. So
Yeah,
both
the
players
frame.
had chances to take this opening frame. It was the Australian who finally knocked that pink in to give him a 1-frame-to-0 lead. I think they both seemed a little bit nervous there, Willie. It's I know it's a round robin stage we're at here, but I think Joe knows he's in the last 16 if he can win this, and maybe it just told a little bit in that frame.
Yeah, I think both players look to be in good form, to be honest. It's just carelessness that both players have missed balls there. They potted some great balls to get going, and then when they're in, the balls miss. And as you rightly say, I think Joe's probably a little bit more under pressure than Neil, because he knows that he's safely into the last 16. And Joe's one of those players that is bordering on being a great player. You know, he's been around for such a long time, and now and again, especially at the World Championship, Dennis, he seems to find his best form.
Yeah, he got to 2 semi-finals at the Crucible, and he does seem to play better under pressure. And when he's on the big stage, it's nice to see him playing well again, though.
Few second frame. Need Robertson to break.
Robertson will be absolutely delighted to have won the opening frame, and didn't really play good safety in that opening frame, and there's another bad safety shot there. So first opportunity for Joe. He will take this on because he can play it as a shot to nothing. Just stun across for the brown. No, he didn't quite get into it as he wanted, but the yellow's there.
Yep. 3. 4.
Little shake of the head there, just overran that. He was hoping to be nicely on the blue. I think he's got a bit of angle with the green here, so. Well, the green must be straight, that's why he's taking the blue.
Ten.
Couple of reds he could get onto, but it appears to have a nice angle on the pink to run through them. Got to be a little bit careful he doesn't lose the white here. What I mean by saying that, the white could end up towards this left top corner pocket if he decides to push through the pack. So there goes the white. You see it was heading towards that corner pocket, wasn't it? But didn't really move any reds into play. That looks like end of break.
16. Go Swail 16.
Just a little bit of safety going on at the minute, just trying to create an opening. This is the art of safety, of course, trying to force your opponent into making the first mistake. Once again, it really disappoints me, Neil. He's such a fantastic potter, but his safety is very, very loose at times. That was another poor safety. Whenever you leave your opponent with his hand on the table, he should put you in trouble. Hasn't done on this occasion.
Very unusual. He's a bit confused there, Neil, because that's each strong part of his game, is long potting. But, and Joe's okay. He's got a slight angle, so he doesn't have to force this. Just roll it in.
1. Eight. Nine.
That was a better shot. It's always tough when you're swinging the ball around two cushions with a little bit of side there to make sure you don't underhit or overhit there. He's played it absolutely to perfection. That's one of the best shots of the match so far, that one. Going to have to make something happen here. All these reds are in the way of one another, so the cannon on the two reds to the right of the pink spot, if he can get to those without cannoning anything else, it would help, but depends which way he wants to play this. Well, there must be a plant on somewhere, because I can't at first glance see anything that's freely available. Can you spot anything there, Dan?
16.
Oh, there's the plant.
Yes, one of those where it's nearly a plant into both corner and middle pocket.
$17.
And the pink back on its spot will also help the situation, because the blue's out of commission somewhat now, but pink and black on their spots, it's a good chance for Joe. Didn't play that very well. He's still got a possible pot, but this
23.
isn't the one he played for. He was playing to get the other side of the pink and red there. Didn't quite get enough side on it. I thought there was a red into the right corner, but maybe there's not. It's a tricky little one into the middle. No, that doesn't go, so this is delicate. No, that wasn't easy.
Joe Swail, 23.
It was the shot previously from pink to get up. That's a very acute angle to knock that in. You see, this is the shot. He played it with the right hand side and he didn't get enough side on it. He came over the wrong side of the table.
Neil thinks he had a bad contact there. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but we were directly behind it. It always appeared to be hitting left-hand jaw. Well, it did go a little bit heavy there. Maybe he did get a kick.
Turn out to be a little bit of a scrappy frame, this.
Not really got his cueing arm going yet, Joe. This is a red that's potable. He can hold for the green. I think the slower you play these, the more likely you are to pot them. If you play it as a shot to nothing at pace, you can miss them. I think you should just roll this in dead weight. And he doesn't like it though. He's not confident at the moment, Neil. Yeah, good shot.
1.
Well, he's a bit fortunate there because he played that shot very
4.
poorly, trying to bring the red out and stay on this red, and misjudged it. But he's still on this red, but needs the rest.
Yeah.
Just going to be a little bit careful with that rest there. It's laying between the blue and the red. That's pretty well played. I may have an angle on the pink here. You use the other red to screw the white back there. He's got an angle on the pink, and the natural angle would be to take the white over towards the 2 reds there, and he could bring both those into play because he's guaranteed to be on at least 1. And it might be just worth moving them here, Willie. What do you think?
Would you play this cushion first then? I always used to like to play them cushion first, didn't you?
Well, he pled to move them, and he just got in behind him there. He didn't quite judge the cannon. Yeah, if he hits cushion first, he can bring them both into play, but he just overscrewed that slightly. He was always still going to have some sort of pot on, but he didn't expect the white to be this far away. Can he knock one of his specials in here? It's just not there in this match so far as long potting.
Lead Robertson 11.
Yes, the way it's played, he'd be delighted to have taken the opening frame because he looks very vulnerable at the moment. Normally, those kind of shots he would get 9 out of 10. Probably sometimes 10 out of 10 when he's really potting well.
Look at the long pot success rate. He's missed all 4 that he's gone for. You won't see that very often from this very talented Australian.
Would you say that he's probably got the mantle of the best single wall potter in the game now from Mark Williams?
He's bordering on overtaking Mark, yeah. I mean, Mark always had that title, unofficial title.
1.
There was a lot of great single ball potters throughout the years at snooker. Perry Mons, the South African, left. Funny enough, most of them left-handers, which is rather strange. Yeah, Perry Mons, Mark Williams, Neil Robertson, all left-handed players. Jimmy White, he's not a bad long potter, left-hander.
Well, that's amazing. I've never actually thought about that before, and that's an unbelievable point you've come up with there, Dan. Everybody, when they're playing well, obviously knocks the long ones in, but what we're actually suggesting, when you're under the cosh and you have to really pull a long pot out, the 4 players that Dennis has mentioned are, well, if you picked 8 players, those 4 would be in straight away. So it just shows you that left-handed, for some unknown reason, seem to be better long potters.
Yeah, and if you want to put Ronnie O'Sullivan at, he'd be the best long potter right-handed and the best long potter left-handed.
8.
Joe Swail just glancing at the scoreboard will tell him he's 36 in front. There's 3 reds that are available, the 2 that are above the or near the middle pocket and the one just above the black. That will pot. I think that's the easier pot, to be perfectly honest, but he's going to kiss into the red, so he's got to be a little bit careful here with a positional shot. He's not bound to get onto a colour. That's very clever there. You probably noticed there he played with a lot of stun and left hand side to make sure the white wasn't going in towards the black. If you keep an eye on the white when he plays this shot, watch it check up, you see there's the left hand side, but unfortunately for him he's finished a little bit in between both pink and blue. .37 in front. Which one do you play, blue, pink or black? Pink's a shot to nothing, and the 6 points is very advantageous at the moment.
That's very unfortunate. He's gone all the way around the table,
50.
avoided the cannon into all sorts of balls that were in the way, and to cannon the final ball and leave him tight on the cushion. He's avoided the blue, the green, both going in and out of balk area. And the final
50.
cannon on the red was very unlucky. Still should have knocked that one in though.
1.
Now this would be a terrible frame to lose for Joe. He's still favourite at the moment the way the balls are situated, but he knows if he hadn't have kissed that final red there, he would have taken the frame.
It's very strange when you're playing snooker that the frame of mind you're in. If your opponent had played a bad safety shot and left the cue ball where it was with that red on, you'd have probably potted that red 9 out of 10. The fact you played a great shot and got a very, very unfortunate kiss puts you that little bit of doubt in your mind, thinking, well, I'm bound to have potted this red if my white was where it should have been.
7.
Yeah, it'd be a shot that if his opponent left him, he'd get down and knock it in. It's such a mind game, this game of snooker. Yep, that was the one. He only missed it because the previous great shot wasn't given its just reward.
Eight. $13. $14.
Well, he looks to be straight on the black. The pink may be better. It depends on the angle he has. Just slightly off straight, but if he's got a good angle on the pink, he can get in behind those 2 reds. And he could leave one of them into the opposite middle pocket here. If he can just roll the pink in and roll in behind the 2 reds, that looks good to me. Wow. It's not good now.
Robertson 40.
He seemed to hit that far too hard. I mean, he seemed to stun it rather than play with topspin. What a gift for Joe Swail. It's going to be one each, that's for sure.
Yes, neither player yet have got any sort of rhythm. The highest break in the match so far, a break of 30 in the first frame, which funny enough Joe Swail went on
6.
to lose. And this frame, Robertson's made the highest break of this frame so far, only 24. And it looks like he's going to lose that one. So it's a little bit scrappy at the moment. But Joe Swail, I think on reflection, will definitely be the more pleased of the 2 players, because Robertson quite obviously should be 2-0 in front, and he's not going to be.
12. $14. 17. $21. $26.
Another example of Joe not quite having the pace of the table, but the frame's clearly won. On reflection, a fair
32 on the
score,
frame.
one each. Neither
Well
player
played.
finding any sort of form thus far. It will improve, but that's for sure. Joe takes a comfort break, but he leads. Sorry, he's drawing at the moment at one frame all. Joe just taking a few moments out of the auditorium. We'll pick up commentary when he returns.
Thank you. Frame 3. Joel Swail.
No, it looks to be able to see enough of the potting angle. Okay, there's no colour available with the pink and black tied up, but he's missed every long pot he's gone for so far in this match. And there's another one, and well, look what he's done. Okay, the black's still awkward, but he's left an easy starter for Joe. Joe's just looking to see if he can do anything about getting onto the black, but it's very awkward. There's not many places you can put the cue ball where you'd be able to get a shot at the black. Not quite. Just the wrong side of the blue. So he's going to have to leave a longish pot unless he decides on one of the bulk colours.
This is a problem here because in potting the ready he has no
6.
alternative but to play a cannon into the black, and he's got to decide now whether to try and flick the black towards the same pocket as he's playing the red in, or push it towards the left hand corner. So he's played a flick it. Now that is an excellent shot. That is brilliant. Well
played. He's got a perfect angle anywhere over near that other white, and he's got the one at the back of the bunch. It's just okay. It looked like he stopped in his tracks a minute. He thought he was
14.
just going to run too far.
$15.
Just play for the one that's nearest the black here. They're not too badly
22.
placed. The pack looks a little bit awkward, but if he gets on the black nicely here, he's just looking to see if one will go at the back of the bunch, but he should be okay when going into them here. So it's good angle on the black when potting this red. And
23.
he's looked at that one at the back of the bunch. He feels that it may possibly be available. That's where he plays. Oh, a little skip from Joey. Oh, he's ran onto the red. Look at the reaction. Well, he's unlucky, but he knew he was going close to the red, and he can't believe. Let's just watch Joe. Oops. He's been watching you, Willie, on Strictly Come Dancing. That was a little Irish jig from Joe there. Very unlucky there.
It's amazing how different players see different shots, Dennis. If I talk about O'Sullivan or Hendry or Higgins or Williams, any of those kind of players, Ding Junhui, they'd have played that black into the bunch there. I mean, I know it's not the wrong shot what Joe played because he was a little unlucky to finish touching ball, but you know, we're going to get a chance to show us again, Dennis. You have a look at the situation. Would you have gone into them?
Yeah, I think it was the angle. Yeah, he could go into the bunch with that other red at the back that he played for being there as well. And he decided he could hold for that one. He'd looked at it a couple of times, but yeah, it looked to be an angle to maybe go into them, but I do like his little Irish jig. I'm going to practice that one myself. Oh, he wants to grab that white and have it again.
Looks virtually impossible without playing a swerve shot here to get the cue ball into baulk, and if he does risk the swerve, the cannon on the blue is on, so he's playing the swerve. You see a lot of left hand side. Got to be very careful here, very careful. Played it well, played it very well. I've criticised some of his safety over the last few times I've seen him play. That was excellent. If he was playing good and confident, he'd have a go at the one down the cushion because that's the only red he can leave on. He could play for the black, but he's not playing well enough at the moment to knock this one in.
There is a safety shot available to him, the one just behind the pink there. If he glances off that, he can get back down the table without canning into something else. I don't think he's spotted that yet.
If you do play a shot there like that, Dennis, what are you thinking of? Are you thinking getting the white on the cush? Are you thinking of getting the white near the yellow?
Just down near the cushion, because you're disturbing the reds, and you know you might push one near a pocket, but that looks to be the escape for him, but he hasn't spotted that one yet.
Played it a little bit too thin, played the shot that Dennis suggested, and the reason I asked the point from Dennis there was, you know, is it better to get the ball tied on the cushion? Is it better to hide it behind a baulk colour?
Yeah, slightly thicker would have been better, because then you're over towards the brown, and if you finish near the cushion you would have blocked off the possibility of the shot that Joe can take on here, and he will finish on the black if this goes in. That's why you've got to get close to the cushion. If you let the player get his hand on the table, he can knock these in.
I think in fairness then you can almost forgive yourself, can't you? If you left that tight on the cushion and you knocked that in, you'd say good shot, but you can't forgive yourself for that safety, can you? Because it was poor.
Eight.
A lot more pressure on Neil Robertson, of course, this season, because he's almost become the hunted rather than the hunter. And you know, having won 2 tournaments last year, he's now a scout for people to play against, so he's going to find players play a lot better against him than maybe they did last year. because they're now, frightened of him and know they can't afford too many mistakes. But he certainly hasn't settled so far this season. He looks a little bit, almost like a rabbit in headlights at the minute. He looks a little bit startled with everything. He's been disappointed so far today, but he's a great player.
Joe Swail 9.
Well, that's usually the case when you're not playing position. You don't put your full concentration into a pot. That was just to get another 7 points there. But yeah, the way the game has gone these days over the last couple of seasons, to win 2 ranking tournaments is a fantastic season for a player. There's nobody really dominating the game at the moment. There's a lot of talented players out there, and that's why we're having so many different winners, which is good for the game, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I think it's a great point in our era, Dennis. There was probably Steve Davis and then another 6 or 7 of us that could win, and then it became Stephen Hendry and another 4 or 5 that could win, and now all of a sudden I think it's 10 that you'd fancy to win and another 10 that could win. So it is so very, very difficult, as you rightly say, to get your hands on a trophy at the moment. Would you fancy anybody to win 2 tournaments this year?
Well, I suppose the way John Higgins played in the World Championship, you'd have to say that he could do that, and Ronnie, if Ronnie's got his right head on and he's playing well, I mean, he could win the lot, couldn't he? But it makes it all fascinating.
Well, we haven't seen Stephen Hendry yet in this tournament, but I've had the pleasure of seeing him playing a couple of the league games, and boy, he's got a new cue at the moment, Stephen Hendry, and it's as good as I've seen him hit the ball for a long time. I think he's going to be a force again. You heard it here first.
Now, I think there might just be a gap through. I'm not quite sure. There's a red that'll go in the corner. There it is. And he can take the white back up the table. Just got to be careful. The middle pocket might be slightly in the way. If he pots this red, he's got to be careful he doesn't cannon into the other red near the cushion, but he's bound to knock a long one in sooner or later. No, and because he hit it thin, he got the cannon, he made a complete hash of that one, and what a chance for Joe Swail. So Neil, who looked in great form in his last match against Joe Perry, I commentated on that, and he was in terrific form, and suddenly a couple of hours later he's struggling. It's amazing, Willie, isn't it?
I think it probably helped him, the fact that they practice. They both reside in Cambridgeshire, and they practice every day together, Joe and Neil. And I think sometimes you can feel comfortable playing an opponent, and I think that's one of the reasons he played very well against his practice partner. Joe Perry's been playing some good stuff as well, but I think today he really needs to get knuckled down very, very quickly. This match could drift away from him the way he's playing. We know he can change things because he is now one of the top players in the world, make no mistake.
Seven. Eight.
Already 53 in front and 2 or 3
14.
easy reds available. It's looking good for Joe Swail here. Should be 2-1 ahead.
50. $21. 22.
Getting to the point where he only needs another red and colour, and look what he's done. He's played his worst shot for quite some time.
29.
Of course, there's 67 on the table, is 68 ahead, which means that Neil needs a snooker, but one more red. Neil Robertson would have got out of his chair. Should Joe miss this, possibly would.
$34. 35. $40.
Very delicate little shot here. No, he's hit the cushion first with the red, and when that happens, you know it's not going to go in. But it doesn't really matter. Neil has conceded the frame was pretty safe, so Joe wasn't too bothered about that, and lost the first. He's won the next two. There's a little cheers to you. Well done, Joe. 2-1 to the Northern Irish player. Neil's nipped out of the arena, and we'll pick up the commentary when he returns.
No intervals in these matches. Normally after the fourth frame you have an interval, and we always say the one before the interval is key. This is, I think, already a key game frame, I should say, for Neil Robertson. He's looked completely out of sorts this afternoon. Luckily for him, he won the opening frame, lost the next two. He has the highest break of only 24 so far in this match. Improvement needed, and quick.
One. Wrong. Five. Go Swail 5.
We talked about a safety shot like this in the previous frame when Dennis suggested it's key here to open the bunch and get a good white. This time he's going to have to avoid cannon on baulk colour. So you've got to be very careful when you play this kind of shot. You've got to get by the baulk colours. He's played that one a little bit too thin, as he did on the previous occasion, and that's the reason the cue balls come out of baulk. His safety so far today hasn't been good enough. These have been his Achilles heel. Normally these are a certainty. Do you fancy him knocking this one in, Dennis? He hasn't got a good record so far.
I think it's something like 6 attempts at a long pot, and he hasn't knocked one of them in yet. There you can see it. And still they don't go in. It's amazing, isn't it? He's stuck a red up, but the only thing is not easy to get position because he's going to have to cannon the black here.
But it's okay missing it then, but you've got to get the shot to nothing, haven't you? The last 2 or 3 long pots he's missed, he's actually cannoning into other balls with the cue ball, so he's not even getting the correct, spin on the cue ball to make it a shot to nothing. He's really struggling.
Yeah, Neil's looking at the table. He knows that this is not an easy positional shot. Joe's got to try and push the black on.
One.
And how well did he play that? Judged this to perfection. And as long as he avoids the green, brown and yellow and gets back up, there's a couple of reds that are waiting for him. That looks pretty good to me. He's got the one to the left of the bunch, the one to the right of the bunch. You see, that's very clever thinking. He gave himself options there.
Nine.
Now he's got a chance here. There's 3 easy reds. But if he went into the bunch here, there would be no risk because he's bound to be on 2 of those reds. But let's see how Joe decides. He's just going to pick them off, but that was a good chance to go into them there, Willie, and be guaranteed to be on one of these reds.
Because we get the chance, Dennis, don't we, of watching all the players play. Now, obviously, Joe occasionally would watch snooker on television. There's no way in the world a top player there wouldn't have gone into the bunch. It's funny, isn't it, the way that sometimes... You see, because what happens now, in 2 shots' time, if he finishes straight on the black, he can't go into them. And there was no problem, was there, then, again?
Or if he gets a heavy contact, as he did there, he might even be snookered now on the black. That must be very tight. I don't think he can get to it. No, he can't get to the potting angle. So that shot there, where feel Joe, if he had to do it again, would go into them. Because he's 22 points in front now. There was only a couple more loose reds.
Joel Swail 70.
Yes, this is what Dennis and I were talking about. If we just hold it there for 1 second, you see the angle there, the three reds he's got. If he goes into the bunch at pace, he's bound to be on one of the 3. Now, okay, he might have stuck on the pack, but he's stuck on the pack there anyway. But at least he would have possibly moved some of the reds into play, which left him a pot in the middle pocket. He just gave himself no chance.
Another attempt at one of Neil's normally specialities, but he's missed 8 long pots out of 8 attempts.
One.
Too straight on this red to play for the black, because he couldn't get an angle on the black to go into them, so you probably have to screw back for the blue here. Key to get top side, it goes without saying. That's the only chance he's going to have to get into the pink.
13.
Wry smile on Joe there, because he knows he's kind of not on the blue properly, he's not on the yellow properly. And the reason I say that, because he needs an angle to get into the reds. And you know, I go back to the black he played, you know, some half a dozen shots ago when he refused to go into them. All these reds would have been open play now.
Blue.
Well, he's gone into them again. He has pushed the red over the corner, but the cue ball, as before, has gone perilously close to the cushion, which
18.
makes this red missable. So you've got to hit those front ball, full ball there, because once you start in half ball, the white's always going to drift away to one of the corner pockets. This is another one of those situations like the previous frame. If your opponent leaves you in that position, you fancy potting it, but you leave it there yourself.
John Swail, 18.
It's amazing how you can miss them. It's unbelievable. It happens so often.
There we go. That's the first ball potted for just over 28 minutes. That's quite remarkable.
This is the kind of confidence boosting
7.
opportunity that Neil needs at the moment, because when the balls are a little bit tied up, he's not scoring at all. I just think he needs a confidence booster, and the balls in this position could be exactly what the doctor ordered. He should play a little flick on the red just below the pink here, but I don't know whether he will do or not. He's played to hold it, which is still just as good. He can bring the other reds into play now and just push through for the black.
15.
He came to the table 40 points behind. If it was the normal Neil Robertson, he'd
16.
be favourite to win from here, but the way he's playing today, I'm not too sure just yet. Needs a confidence booster.
$23.
Didn't get a very good contact there, but doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball. Can just roll it in on and off the cushion beyond the red to the extreme right of those 4. Can stun up the line and get in exactly the same position. It just depends what you fancy playing. The key thing is to make sure you get high enough past the pink. I don't think he's cueing well. I mean,
30.
JV once said to me, and I thought it was a strange thing he said when I first listened to him, but he said you can actually, if you don't hit the ball purely, you can actually get a kick sometimes by bad cueing. I think that's one of the things there, that he didn't cue that very well.
Yes, he's losing the cue ball as well. It's amazing how he played so well in his previous match against Joe Perry, and he just can't get going here against Joe Swail.
$34.
This is Neil's
35.
highest break of the match so far, and he's had what he considers to be 4 or 5 kicks in this little break of 35, but I just think he's just jabbing at the ball a little bit. There we saw him cueing a little bit below centre balls, and that was a shot that he should play very high on it. I just don't think he's got any confidence at all. I mean, it's going to have to play a kiss now to keep the break going. Play the kiss on the middle one, the red just in between pink and red. Kiss that one full ball and just push through it a little bit. Be on the choice of both reds.
$42. $43. $50. 51. $58. 60.
Well, just as you join us, Neil's about to clinch this frame and draw level. And it's a frame he needed because he has been struggling in this match, nowhere near the form here that he showed against Joe Perry. He won the opening frame, Neil, but it's been a struggle ever since that. And Joe, although he led 2-1, wasn't really at his best either.
Neil Robertson, 63.
That was the highest break of the match so far, coming just at the right time for the Australian. I think we did mention, Willie, a lot of pressure on Joe here because he knows if he wins this match he's through to the last 16.
4.
Yes, it's been a group where there's been a lot of strange results. Apart from Joe, who's at the table now, nobody's really taken hold of this group. Joe, of course, at this moment in time needs 1 snooker. The only problem with playing it thin off 2 cushions, this blue, and to go in behind the black, he might pop the blue, which he doesn't want to do. So he's going to have to make a decision here whether to play it too thin or perhaps a little thicker, but try to go off 2 cushions in behind the black. Oh, what a kick. We've had about 6 kicks in the last, or in this frame alone. That took all the pace out of the cue ball.
Yeah, it sounded very dead when the blue hit the cushion there. That's why Joe's smiling, I think. Now, will this be the first long pot that Neil has knocked in? It's unbelievable. We keep saying he's probably the best long potter we've got in the game nowadays. In this particular match, he can't knock a long one in. I think it's 9 long pots he's attempted and he hasn't got one. I don't think we'll see that very often with Neil Robertson.
Can't really risk just running the blue over the pocket here because just the one snooker needed. So try and leave a little bit of pace between cue ball and object ball, as he has done there. Joe's very proficient in this area of the game. He's quite capable of getting snookers.
Now this is very difficult because the blue's so close to the cushion. Normally you would try and get round off 3 cushions to get in behind the black, but because the blue's tight on the cushion, it's very tough indeed. Knew he couldn't get the snooker there. He just tried to push the blue safe. Might cross double this blue into the other corner pocket here.
Now, can he hit this thin enough to swing it around 3 cushions to get in behind the black? That's what he might be playing. That's what he is playing. Just needed a little bit thicker and that would have had a chance. Pink will be second prize. He didn't play behind the pink. Very easy to hit, but he has got the snooker.
See, he doesn't really want to pop the blue here because you're better with a couple of balls on the table to get the snooker behind. But if he pots the blue, he's got to make sure he gets perfectly on the pink to give himself a chance to get in behind the black. Well, he's decided on the blue. Now he's only got that 1 ball to get in behind. How's the pace?
John Swail 5.
Well, it is a snooker. He's going to have to swerve it. He only had that 1 ball to get the snooker behind, and didn't he judge it well? And the swerve shot on these tables, well, it's not that easy because there's very little nap on the cloth, and you've got to get much more swerve to create the angle, haven't you?
And it's just near enough the cushion to cause a problem. If this was tight on the cushion, the swerve probably wouldn't have been on. But I think it is on. I think he's got to play it.
Yeah, well, maybe he's not going to play it because he's so close to the cushion. If you try to swerve it, you tend to bounce the ball, don't you, a little bit? So if he doesn't play the swerve shot, he could quite easily miss this pink.
I think I'd rather miss it playing the slow swerve, Dennis. At least you can get the white down on the top cushion. I think the slow swerve, I fancy him to get the slow swerve, but he's having another look.
Well, rather than go off 1 cushion, I'd prefer to go off 2 cushions. I'd probably go that side of the table to try and hit the pink. You can go the other side, but that's equally as difficult. But 1 cushion is very tough to judge. Oh, he did very well. Very relieved. They're nasty little escapes, those.
Got to be careful he doesn't push the pink towards the corner pocket here if he plays in behind the black. That was always going to be a danger, that pink going there.
Oh, it's awkward. Got to be careful you don't touch the black here. That cue will be very close to the black. Oh. Don't know whether the black maybe just rocked on its spot there. I wasn't quite sure. Let's have a look.
May have been the shadow of his cue, Dennis. I, like you, thought at first glance the black had moved.
Yeah.
In my era, Dennis, in the 80s, when I used to play against you, Thorburn or Davis, this was the kind of situation where sometimes you'd have rather been kind of 12 in front rather than 14, because the number of times that you guys could, get that one snooker needed. And Joe's very good. I mentioned earlier in commentary, he's up there with some of the best players at getting snookers. We've seen him come very close on 2 occasions.
Wouldn't this be ironic? He's took 9 long pots on, he's missed them all. Will he clinch the frame with a long pot? A Neil Robertson special. There we go. In it goes. And Neil Robertson has got himself back all square at 2 frames each. Well, Neil will be absolutely delighted to have taken that frame, because he has been struggling in this match, but at least he's back all square at 2 each. But some of his long pots, Willie, in this match, he did well against Joe Perry, but we'll just show you a couple of his long pot attempts, and he usually knocks those in.
I think the thing is as well, every time he's missed a long pot, he's been trying to get a good white, i.e. trying to play the shot to nothing. But every time he's hit it so bad, we've seen 3 of them there, and this is the 4th one. Okay, he wasn't trying to do anything with the cue ball there, but on the 3 reds he's played, he's trying to get back into baulk, and every time he's carried into reds. But I think going back to Joe's play in that frame, Dennis, I think as we see another one of Neil's long pots, it's Joe's fault there that he's actually lost that frame, because on 2 occasions he was in the balls and refused to go into them when he had a chance to win frame at one visit.
Cue frame 5. John Swail to break.
Thank you very much, Rishi. Joe staying out quite a while there. I think he was just probably trying to compose himself, because he did have a good few chances there that he let slip. That just makes it a little bit awkward there, but he'd no return to the safety area of the table. He pushed the red up the table. I think we talked about it yesterday, the Cliff Thorburn shot. We called it the dump shot, where you just leave the white up this side and dump the red up the other end of the table. Strange name, but there you go.
He'd like to play a similar shot here with the red in baulk, but he'd be frightened of the double kiss. That's why he's looking at alternative safety, but needs to cover this red in baulk, and he hasn't done that. This is a poor shot, because it's such an easy safety shot now for Neil. I'm really surprised he played it that way, because he can get the white in behind green and brown and just bring the red somewhere near the blue. Keep that red in open play. You don't want to knock that red safe. Just keep it in a position that if Joe at his next visit plays a bad shot. See, for me that's not good. I want to play the red anywhere near a cushion there. I'd have liked it in between kind of brown and blue, Dennis, wouldn't you, to force it, Joe into playing a good safety.
Yeah, the fact that he has pushed the red to where he has, it leaves Joe with an easy safety shot and also a chance to possibly, well, he's just going to play the safety shot here. Now there may be a little bit of value here. If this red is dead straight up into the corner, no, I think he's just playing the safety shot. I was thinking he might have just had to go with the long pot if he wasn't going to leave anything. He just used the other red as a stopper there and screwing back into the balk. It stayed near the pocket, which means there's a slight problem. Now, is the two reds a possible plant? Now, let's have a look. Well, it's not in a direct line, but he could make this. If he just hits the first red on the left side as we look at it. Well played. And that has given himself a terrific chance. Joe couldn't anticipate leaving a plant like that on.
Yeah, it's a cracker, wasn't it? It wasn't until the 63 break he made in frame 4 to level at 2-all. He looked like potting a ball really in this game. He was completely out of sorts. That has certainly boosted his confidence, and this is a good chance again to score heavily and take the lead for the second time in this match. He led 1-0.
Twelfth. Thirteen.
Well, that's a very nervous attempt from Neil Robertson there. No sign of a kick or a heavy contact. No, the black didn't jump off the spot there. So he's not quite with it here. He knows if he could win this match, that would give him 3 wins out of 4 and would put him, well, with the same scoreline as Joe Swail, because Joe's won all 3. And as we mentioned, if he wins this, he'll automatically go into the last 16. But there's a lot of permutations. If Neil was to win this, you're not guaranteed to get through winning 3 matches.
He can't cue low on this to be able to screw back, but he could possibly try and play it with a lot of topspin and try and run it round 3 cushions. Or is he just going to roll it in? Yeah, he didn't fancy that. I was thinking he could play with a lot of left-hand side. He can cut the black in. Now the green being just off its spot helps, because I think there's just enough room for the white to pass on and over the green spot and not kiss into the green. Let's just have a look at the path of the cue ball. Yeah, it's okay. Well, this is a bit betwixt and between, isn't it? Isn't on the one on the cushion properly, isn't on the one below the path.
8.
there's one that goes to the middle also, and he might be able to screw back just using the pack or straight back for the black.
9.
So that turned out okay for Joe. Still a couple of reds available before he has to go into them. Oh, that was a terrible
Swail
kick.
9.
I don't know, suddenly we've been having quite a few kicks in this match. I don't know why. It seemed to be fine in the earlier matches. It makes you look really silly when that happens. That wasn't Joe's fault.
Well, if looks could kill, goodness me. And I don't blame him, because I think honestly they should change the white. We've had, I think, 6 kicks now in the last, maybe 7 now in the last frame and a half, and sometimes you get it happen like that. Maybe there's that much static in the room from the carpets or whatever it is that it gets into the white.
That's not a bad point, Willie. I'm just thinking, because I've done all the matches on this table and there's been very few kicks. Now, maybe it's a different type of ball. If the referee brings another set of balls out, maybe it's not the same set of balls that's been used on this table. Might just check that.
Now normally you'd take this on and play for probably the blue or the black. He's just, honestly, he's not cueing anything like, and to be involved in the match at all, it's every credit to him at the moment. He's just hanging on in there. Those kind of shots last year, Dennis, he was knocking them in for fun, wasn't he?
Of course, it's a new experience for Neil Robertson, being a defending champion. That carries a lot of pressure with it. Well, that's another. You could tell by the sound that was a heavy contact also. There may be a shot to nothing on here for Neil Robertson. There's a red that he can cut into the right corner and avoid the cannon onto the black. There is a gap around the red. He just cannot get the long pots in at the moment.
In real time, Dennis, he hasn't potted one. You mentioned in commentary he pots the pink was his first long ball, but the frame was virtually already won then. When he's needed to pot it with the frame live, as it were, he hasn't potted one in 4.5 frames.
Problems for the Australian here. That was a very good shot from Joe Swail. Even if he can get past the green to see the one that's near the cushion, he's going to need a good shot to get it safe. And there's no easy shot to come off a cushion and land on a red. He can see that one, as you can see, but he's going to get a good cue ball if he plays that.
If he could hit it full ball and just run the cue ball through to the jaws of this bottom pocket, that would help. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the white right in these jaws. Oh, that's unlucky. That's unlucky. That was nearly a good shot, Dennis, wasn't it?
He was in a terrible position there, really. He got the old, as we call it, the dreaded double kiss. Now he's got to take advantage here, Joe, because he did have a good chance, or a couple of chances, to go 3-1 up. Now this will settle him down again if he can knock a few in. I know it's not easy to do, but he's got to play this match and forget the 3
8.
that he's won and just concentrate on this and play it as an individual match.
9.
Are you a fan of this format, Dennis? Do you think there's room for different kinds of tournaments, or are you one of the school that just thinks it should be a straight knockout?
I think now they've gone to the best of 7. I think the players are enjoying it. A lot of the players didn't enjoy it last season because it was the best of 5. Felt it was a little
16.
bit of a lottery. But the best of 7, I mean, if you do get through your group, you've had lots of practice and you're going to be in pretty good shape for the remainder of the tournament. And I think, yeah, there is room
17.
for having something a little bit different. Do you remember the British Open? They used to, after you played a round, all the names went in the hat and you used to pull a name out to see who you would play in the next round. I didn't mind that either.
Yeah, FA Cup style. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think there's room for that. Be great then, wouldn't it? See O'Sullivan versus Hendry first round,
24.
O'Sullivan versus Higgins second round, and somebody we've never heard of get to the final.
25.
In fact, that final that you mentioned, when they had that format, Bob Chaperon from Canada won 75,000 for his only ever win. And I'll never forget that because I was playing golf with him during the tournament and he had a couple of an electricity and a gas bill in his pocket, a red bill. He hadn't paid his bills. He did after he won the 75,000.
Yes, we had quite a few one-time winners over the years, and Chaperon was one. Silvano Francisco was another. I think Tony Jones won a championship as well. There's been all sorts of one-time winners that haven't really kicked
33.
on. Joe Swail has yet to win a ranking event. I think he's won the Irish Championship before. This player is capable of winning any event when he's buzzing. This is more like the Joe Swail we've seen on a few occasions during his career, but today
40.
he's been a little bit in and out. It's a big chance though to go 3-2 in front, 1 up with 2 to play.
41.
Normally we'd like to play the cannon into the red and pink, but now he's using the rest. That's a dangerous shot, Dennis, isn't it? Because he needs a little bit left hand side to play that.
Yeah, it would stop the white for him if he did play that shot. And he did play it, and he played it to perfection. That was the only way he could hold the white because of the angle. The white would have went on it past the blue. But I've played against Joe and been around Joe for so many years, and sometimes, Willie, when the pressure's really on him, he seems to play a lot better.
I think he played 4 of the best frames I've ever seen. I think he was 12-9 behind. Was it against Terry Griffiths or Joe Johnson? And he won 4 frames on the trot, never missed a ball. And you can't be more under pressure
56.
when you've 4 behind with 5 to play.
57.
Well, this is a good performance. Should have won the previous round to go 3-1. What he has done is brushed himself
62.
down and made a frame-winning break to definitely lead 3-2.
Well, he's missed that one, but he won't be too disappointed
6
about
frame,
that.
Joe Swail.
Neil Robertson stays in his seat. That was a great effort from Joe Swail. That 62 break has given him the frame, and he's back in the lead at 3-2. He just needs another one.
Frame 6. Neil Robertson 2.
Thank you, guys, and it is a pleasure to see Joe still battling away there. He's been a pro now for a lot of years and he still loves the game.
Yeah, he turned pro, believe it or not, 1991, Willie. So where did the years go?
One.
I mean, Neil Robertson's been a pro 9 years now. It's amazing this young man wasn't even born when we used to go out and play in Australia. Pop Black used to be watched in Australia, was very popular in the 70s. All the players were household names in Australia. Now the long pots are starting to go in. I think these two boys were just waiting till we went live on television to produce their best snooker, Willie. They're real professionals, aren't they?
And that's by far and away the best shot he's played for some time, because it was a key thing to get round the back of the black. He had to play like what we call a stun run through to widen the angle to go around the back of the black. He played it to perfection. So that's the first long one. Oh, we got a kick there as well. That bounced. I'd be throwing this white straight out the window after this game.
What?
It's more like playing with a ping pong ball, this. How many whites would a referee have, Dennis? Do they just have one spare, or do they have more than that?
Well, you do ask me some nice questions, Willie. I'll have to ask Terry there, our referee, see how many whites he's got on his person. He's probably got a dozen whites hidden away in his dress suit there.
Yeah, but the point I was making, they definitely have more than the one, don't they? That's the point.
Yeah, the players can ask for the ball to be changed, but both players would have to agree. If they felt it was reacting a bit strangely, they could say, what do you think, should we change the white? Now, where's the white going to drop this time?
18.
Amazing. That's what we called no man's land. A couple of inches either way and he was in perfect position. Amazing that the white can travel so far. Just have a look at this. It's hit 1, 2, 3 cushions. He avoided the balk colours, and then somehow it's just dropped
18.
in the most awkward of spots.
I think that's the only place, isn't it? Once it passed the blue spot, I think that's the only place where you can't put a red. It can finish the 3 foot past, 3 foot short, and be on one. Is this potable?
I suppose it's potable, but it's awkward being so close to pick the angle out. That was...
Here's Robertson, 18.
He was so close to the ball there, it wasn't that far off being a push shot. That's where the tip, the cue ball and the object ball are all in contact at the same time, and that was an example of almost being a push shot.
I'm going to sit on the fence there. I don't think that it sounded very strange, that one, but the path of the cue ball almost went in exactly the same direction as I think it might have done. But as it is, it's no, he didn't pot it, so it's gained no advantage.
This has got to go in, otherwise he's going to stick them up. As I say, under pressure, Joe Swail seems to be able to produce some of his best snooker. I mean, that was a great shot there. Not only to knock the pot in, but to manoeuvre the cue ball round for the blue. That's probably the best shot of this match so far. Judged to perfection.
I can't agree with you more, Dennis. It's given him a chance now to win frame and match at this visit. I know that he's going to have to play a shot here to get onto the black, but should he get onto the black where the reds are now, it's hard to see him not getting at least 6 or 7 reds and blacks. Great chance.
7.
Well, another kick. This time, though, it didn't throw the red offline, but stopped the white a little bit shorter than where it would have finished. So he's going to have to use a little cannon here, but he should be okay.
Yes, he'd like to avoid the first red above the black and screw into the middle red of the 3 directly above the black. He'd like to kiss those reds there. That one 4 ball or half ball, he's not playing that, he's just playing to kiss the one loose red. Now, not guaranteed to have an easy pot here. He must feel that this red in the middle is easy enough to play for. I think the shot on that middle red was on, but he's decided to leave a shot into the middle. Seems to have a good angle, can just drop it in for blue or green.
15.
He may not have to play any more cannons because they're all going to clear the path for each other here. Just look where he put the white there. He's left himself a choice of at least 4 reds, just putting the white in the position he has. 3 in the left corner, 1 in the right middle pocket.
21.
He's still not happy with the contact there. He's keeping our referee busy here in this match, Terry Camilleri, having to keep cleaning that cue ball.
The red over the pocket is no problem, so what he should do here is play for one of the other reds. He knows he's got that there just in case, but he has taken the chance now to get rid of that early. I think a little bit more pace, he could have got onto the red just to the right and above
28.
the black. It's key here to bring the white right into play. You don't want to leave it 2 inches away from the cushion. Get it a foot away from the cushion so the black's unmissable. Yeah, that's not too bad. The closer you get to the black, the easier the black is.
$36.
Yeah, he's okay. He's going to have to sort of play for the blue this time.
27. Yes.
Maybe just a little bit further than he intended, and now he might have to play the cannon if he pots the blue. He's got a cannon into the pink or the 2 reds to the left of the pink, but he should be okay. He's looking at the yellow, but the blue definitely seems to be the shot, and play the cannon. Even if he just goes in between the pink and reds, he's bound to finish on a red here.
$42.
Played it beautifully, and perhaps a little unlucky not to have an easier red than this. I know it looks easy on our picture there, but he's going to have to play it very, very slowly. The red that is to the right of the black there. And especially now he needs the rest. It always makes them missable, doesn't it? I'd fancy him to pot it if he could stretch over, but because he has that back arm right over his back, Dennis. When he's stretching, he can't really play that. His arm's straight now.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen
43.
Joe Swail take a shot where his backhand was straight.
Just because he's reaching over, isn't it? That's amazing, isn't it? Otherwise, he'd have to kind of almost lie on the table, wouldn't he, to be able to get his arm in the position it needed to be. That's amazing.
You don't see that very often. I mean, we've got so used to Joe's style down the years, and John Parrott mentioned it in the studio, how his back arm is bent out and he flicks at the ball. It's a unique style.
There's not many gaps here if he plays the blue in the middle. Must avoid the black. It doesn't matter if he kisses one of the reds, but he must avoid the black. And the pink. Yes, it was always going to be wrong there. I thought he'd have played a cannon onto one of the reds to make sure that you push one towards the corner. Risking a cannon on the pink was very... I can only assume he played the gap, Dennis. I don't think he played the cannon.
I think a full ball cannon on the pink would have been perfect. He would have stayed on 3 or 4 reds, but the half ball or quarter ball contact has ruined it. Let's just have a look at the position there. Yeah, if he hits the pink full ball, he's got a choice of 4 reds, but he didn't quite get into it. And the one he's faced with into the middle pocket, he's thought long and hard about this. This is a tough shot.
Joe Swail, 48.
Had a break of 62 in pinching frame 5, a break of 48 here, but it could be roles reversed here because he's 30 points in front, Joe. And if Neil Robertson pots this first red, he becomes favourite to level at 3-all because the reds are in beautiful position for break building purposes. So it's all about this opening red, and he hasn't potted many. I think it's 1 in 11 he's potted at distance. You see, just cannot pot a long ball with any consistency, and lucky to have not left a pot.
There you can see 23% of the long pots. You won't see that stat very often about Neil Robertson.
Well, how careless was that shot that Joe just played? This is cuttable. I mean, Neil's wondering where the white's going. I mean, it's one of those where you have to play the cut and just play it at pace, where you try and keep the white in play. I think he'd probably have to kiss into the other red, so he won't have too much idea where the cue ball's going, but just make sure of the pot. That was so careless from Joe Swail, that previous shot.
1.
Well, that sounded a bit heavy as well, and I think it spoiled things, because when the yellow goes back onto its spot, just have a look at the position of the balls. You're going to have to be bridging over the top of it.
3.
Normally the white would have ran through a bit further, and now let's have a little look and a listen. Yeah, it jumped a little bit. So now he's hampered. And he's got to play it with a little bit of pace. And what happens when you play them with pace? You get a little bit of unwanted side when you're bridging over the top of a ball. So 27 the difference. Another chance for Joe Swail.
1.
If he's just going to drop this in, there's no problem, but the fact he had to force it a little bit to get position caused him to get a little bit of unwanted side on it there.
Yes.
Every time a player plays a stun shot with this cue ball, it seems to bounce every time. Not the greatest player I've ever seen with the rest, Joe, so here's another look at the white. There's another bounce, you see. I think when you're cueing down on it, automatically with these thin cloths it bounces a little bit, but it doesn't usually take the pace out of the cue ball. And I was saying he's not the best player I've ever seen in the world with the rest, and there was an example of that. But he does lead by 32 points, so he's a strong favourite.
There's a bit of value here, and Joe knows that Neil will take this long pot up the cushion because he can get out onto the black and he wouldn't leave anything, only the red that he's taking on. So this could pay dividends if he could slot this one up into the corner. Great shots. I say a great shot, but as a terrific pot, but I think he's finished dead straight on the black. Yeah, slight angle, but not easy.
He can bounce that in then surely and get on the red. Do you not think, one cushion?
It looks a wee bit on the straighty side. He's got to get out off the cushion to the other side of the red as we look at it there, and we've got the perfect picture. Let's see if he can really force this one in. There you go. You were one of the best bouncers in the game, Willie, weren't you?
I bounced around the world, Dennis.
8.
I mean, actually, he made that. You see, that's not a kick there. He's playing that bounce shot on purpose just to widen the angle. He could have actually played it not half the speed, but a lot less harder than that, and still been nicely on the red. He's actually come in probably the worst position he could have done off that black. See how the ball bounces? You see, just to widen the angle. He needed to finish just there, but of course it's round on another foot.
I'll tell you what, Willie, you'll be doing a bit of bouncing next Saturday with a tango, is it, you're doing?
Yes, tango. I feel like I've been tangoed when I've been rehearsing for about 10 minutes. The sweat's pouring out of me. Wow, can you believe that? He wish he'd been tangoed himself after that shot.
If you touch the cushion, they don't go in. Joe Swail, I bet he can't believe the amount of chances he's had in this frame. A frame that will put him through to the last 16.
Would you actually risk playing for the black here then? Because getting on the red is not easy, is it? Where if you play up for one of the blue or the bought colours, it's a lot easier. But I know the only reason I'm saying that, if you finish too low, it's tough, isn't it, to get on the black? And the red, I should say.
Yeah, the red, I suppose, is far enough away from the cushion, but I'm just looking at the angle he's left on the black here. You see, he can't screw in behind it. Normally you'd like to just screw in behind that and leave yourself a chance of the red into the corner pocket as we look at it, or the other middle pocket. But I don't think he's got the angle to do that, so he may have to leave this red on for the left corner, looking at the angle.
Yes, he's just come high enough to make that a possibility. Well, he could get in behind it. Frame and match ball.
8. Yep.
Amazing, isn't it? Another 2 inches of pace. This red would have been unmissable. The fact that he's cutting it back in either to the middle pocket that's half a blind pocket or the corner pocket. I think the corner has got a better chance, as long as he doesn't kiss the blue, of getting into a shot to nothing situation.
Yeah, it's one of those. Forget about the white. Just concentrate on the pot, because it will give you the match. And it's there.
9.
It will be a delighted Joe Swail. He looked very nervy. in this match, but when the pressure was on, he seemed to produce his best snooker. Okay, this frame was a little bit shaky, but
30.
what a performance.
15.
4 out of 4. Can't do better than that.
And the first player guaranteed a quarter-final
18.
place. The Irishman Joe Swail. In the balls, he's looking excellent this week. I'd like to see him be a little bit more
22.
aggressive in the break building department to make him a threat to win the tournament. But a very tough man to beat, and Neil Robertson will be very disappointed the way he's played today. He's done well to win 2 frames the way he's played.
33.
The handshake
Very
comes
much.
from Neil Robertson. He knows now he's got a little bit of a mountain to climb. Joe Swail is guaranteed a place in the quarter-final. He marches on and wins the match by 4 frames to 2.